Hello
Well,
and
we missed
welcome.
an entire inning.
This game is brought to you by Cameron, who did not give me anything to stream this. We love you, but at the same time, please.
Yeah, so today we have Amem, Bolo, broadcasting this game, and Fireball Max just here to fucking yap.
What's up?
Chill.
Yep.
Yep. Starting off this game, we've had a 1-2-3 inning from the Panthers. Strikeout, flyout, ground out, and then we had Panthers get a little bit of a rally going in the bottom of the first. You had a single to start off by Little, and then a walk by Gertie, but then 2 flyouts and a strikeout to get out of the first inning. Now we have Paps up, arguably going to win AL Rookie of the Year, just popping up into the catcher's mitt of Uchime. And after that, we are going to have, I'm not even going to pronounce that username. Just skip over that one.
Yep.
But this is their 6th batter.
Why
is that
This
not
is
updating?
Kenny,
That's gonna drop.
FYI, and that is going to drop.
Bro, my scoreboard's not updating.
Wow. That very much should have been caught. You know, that's just a bad play by Dogs, with all due respect.
Yeah.
Is it a hard play to make? Yeah, but it very much should be caught. As Broadway now coming up to the plate. This is who I like to call Mr. Shingle Man. And fun fact about Broadway, he's played on 6 MCBA teams before he ended up being drafted by the Grizzlies.
I played with
Played
this
on
guy.
Emeralds, Vipers, Samurai.
Yeah, huge prospect coming
Raiders,
out.
Ducks, bunch of teams.
Yep.
I played with him on the Monkeys.
Oh yeah,
way
he was a
back
monkey
when.
as well.
He was a gorilla for like 2 seconds too.
He was.
Oh wow. Yeah.
They signed him and then they
outside
cut him.
fastball from strike 2.
One on.
Gertie on the mound, one of the booster draft picks of this late season, and
Ooh.
liner right to be cleary, caught for the out. 3 outs, change sides. Grizzlies back on the field. Yizba taking the mound. So yeah, Yizba's on the mound for the Grizzlies, and you have Gertie on the mound for the Panthers.
We have a
So,
little
again, very
field
exciting game
issue.
we have.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. That's it.
I guess that's what happens when you have staff members playing this game. You know, you get a little bit of extra help. But Daniel up to the plate, another Emeralds legend, was part of that Season 10 voided World Series win, even though, in my opinion, it's a World Series win. But one of the dogs of that team, arguably one of the better players, not the best player. I think we can all agree that Lockie and Dreyfo were the 2 main guys, but definitely one of the bigger role players of that team. Role player not being the best word, as he misses that 2-seam high and inside for the first strike of the at-bat. But Uchime definitely can put a rock on the ball, but he knows how to pitch. That's his main bread and butter, as that is a inside 2-seam, a little more inside than the last one for strike 2. He takes a moment, starts typing, you know, you don't know what's going on in his head, and he's ready to hit an absolute bomb right now. Just thinking, pondering, as he takes a slider right down the dick. You know, he's just watching that one fly by, admiring that slider. As King Dolphin now up to the plate, because, you know, Uchime didn't have the exact best at-bat, but it's okay. He's an Emerald, so I don't really care. But Katie up to the plate, another one of those guys who mainly is a pitcher on this team, but he can hit. He very much can hit. Arguably in competition for reliever of the year for the Panthers. Panthers being one of the more shocking teams outside of the American League. Most teams or players did not expect the Panthers to have the run they have had going into the season. They ended up finishing, I think, best team in the league, when most players did not expect them to finish that high up. 0-2 count for King Dolphin, and here comes the pitch. It's a slider, a little too inside for King Dolphin to swing at, as that'll be the first ball of the at-bat. 1-2 count. Yizba throwing a 2-seam. That might have been late. I don't know how Dill
I
Hank.
think, yeah,
Yeah, they're
he
going
had
to
a
call
no
that a no
pitch.
pitch. Yeah.
You know, Panthers have been really surprising too, honestly. You didn't expect them to have like any sort of pitching, any sort of batting ever since the rebuild, but they managed to do it, honestly, and it's really impressive. Ooh, fouls it off. I don't know where they go into or for the off season for this pitching that they find. I don't know where they go for some of the bats that they find, but they managed to get it. That's gonna be a fly
That's
ball.
blown out. Diesel Boy
Got
looked
him.
like he had a bad read on it, but was able to make the catch. A little can of corn for him. As Pink comes up to the plate. Another one of those guys was a free agent. Was thought to be heading to the Dolphins, but ended up going with the Panthers. Excited to see what he can do here. You know, this Panthers team is definitely one of the scrappier teams in the league. But hey, they win games, and that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah,
What they're
honestly.
doing is that's an inside shootout for the first strike. You know, they've had not the best pitching, but their offense has supplemented for their pitching woes throughout the season. You know, funnily enough, this team has lost, I think, twice to the Knights as what's his name? Hibbett not able to make that play, as Pink will have an infield single as Pug comes up to the plate. But again, like I was saying, this team, funnily enough, lost twice to the Knights, one of the worst teams in the league. They ended up losing in the American League, and that's pretty sad for me to say because I am a Knight. But hey, it's okay. You know, I can't really say much as Pup pops that up. Looks like he's hitting in an elevator shaft right there, as that is caught by Hibbett for the third out. Change sides. You got the Panthers back on the field. Change sides. Sorry, I had to do that. As Gertie takes up the mound for the Panthers. You got. No, my bad.
And honestly, I think between these two teams, it's gonna be whoever cracks first. You have was it Gerd? He's pretty young and he's on the mound right there. This is like his first first NBL season. Honestly, he's been doing all right, I guess, on the mound. But then you have YSBA for the Grizzlies as well, and he at least has the veteran experience to get behind him. So it's gonna be a matter of who cracks first, in my opinion, whose offense starts raking off of him.
No, for sure. The problem with Gertie is that he'll leave a little two-seam outside corner, and that is the most crushable pitch in this fucking game, and he still throws it, and somehow teams still don't hit it. But if you're waiting for it and you're ready for it, you hit it 4 million feet, dead center 450, Aaron Hernandez. Goodbye. I don't want to see you anymore. The thing is, you know, people are just not awake, and you know they swing at bullshit like that where it's 4 feet over their head, and strike out because of it. As Hibbett comes up to the plate, you know, it's like
It was a
don't know
dirty
what to tell
pitch,
you.
man. It was a dirty pitch to get him swinging at.
No, it really was not. It was a 2-seam.
No, I'm saying it was not a good pitch. It wasn't nasty in any sort. I'm just saying it was dirty to throw it there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hibbett up to the plate. Thing with the Grizzlies is that they're definitely a top-heavy lineup. They got guys who can hit at the bottom end of the lineup, but just haven't hit in the bottom end of the lineup. Like, you have Creeper on this team, you have Hibbett on this team. Guys who you think would be hitting higher, like 250, 300 average with a 400 on base percentage, because that's what they've been able to do in their career, but just haven't been able to perform on this Grizzlies team. Now, you've got guys like Paps and Kaz, and surprisingly guys like Broadway, who people didn't expect to perform as well, that have been some of the best players in the league this season. So, you know, you have your mismatch, but this team just was able to squeak it into the playoffs, you know. That American League playoff competition was definitely tough, but every team was close except the Panthers. The Panthers were able to run away with the division win, but getting into the playoffs was definitely a tight competition, as that is lined into center field. That'll be a base hit for Kaz, because Pug is not gunning Kaz right there. You know, they don't have old outfielder throws. You're not expecting anything too crazy there. Good throw though. as Kid coming up to the plate. Arguably one of the better draft picks in this draft class. This guy I was hoping would have dropped to the 3rd round, but you know, couldn't get that to happen. But now he's on the Grizzlies. He's on a winning team, and I'm happy and excited to see what he can do as he takes an inside 2-seam for a strike.
Gorilla, go Gorillas.
Yeah, go Glowrillas for you. Yeah, I know you're a big gorilla guy. 'Cause you're almost the owner. That is line deep.
He doesn't even look at it.
Deep fly ball, left field. Goodbye, Kid. Grizzlies up 2-0. As I told you, it's just that outside 2-seam for you right there. That outside 2-seam crushable pitch. If you're waiting for it, you pinch it. It goes bye-bye, goodbye, fuck you, and you hit a nuke.
Doesn't even
Simple
look
as
at the
that.
pitch, just straight piss missile fire straight out of the left field, man. I think it hit like the backstops. Amazing.
No, definitely a good swing.
And definitely a good pick too. You were just talking about it. Picked up in the 2nd round. Honestly, hoping I thought honestly he's probably going to be a sleeper pick, but no, picked right exactly where they needed to be. And look what they did for the Grizzlies right there. 2-run bomb.
To give him the go-ahead lead as Diesel Boy now up to the plate. 0-2 count and just missing that 2-seam. Was able to foul it off right there. Gertie keeps going inside right there. Same pitch. 1-2-3, and now he's going to throw that 2-seam high, and it's going to be a strike. It's almost predictable, man. They should put me on the field. I could tell them what he's freaking throwing. They'd be up like 10 runs. I'm serious, man. Like, I know I'm talking trash right now, but like
That, I mean,
Alright.
insane. It's crazy.
Panthers back up to the plate. Little up. Now Little, another one of those booster draft picks. All the booster draft picks, other than Weirs, absolutely popped off, and B Cleary, but all of them genuinely have popped off. So very proud of them. Little being another one of them. Great defense, can hit the ball as well. But talking outside of the Grizzlies and Panthers, Beacon's disbanding. Where do you see some of their free agents going in NBL? You know, you got guys like Manny, Obey, Jake, and a couple other guys, Logix. Where do you think those guys might end up going into next season?
Well, first of course, there's the expansion draft too, so you have to remember that. People were speculating about it, but now it's all but certain. So now you do have a lot of guys from that solid Beacons roster that's been built over the past couple of seasons now, and they're all going to be like free agents on this expansion draft. So honestly, if some of them don't get picked up, it would be amazing. What we need to look at is some of the sleepers that we got there for the Beacons. Who might pass out from that expansion draft, and I don't really know them specifically, but I know there's a couple of sleepers here and there that they could possibly go and pick up for that Beacon. Go and pick up wherever they decide to go if they don't get drafted. That's gonna be the real kicker, honestly.
No, for sure. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how the booster draft or the expansion draft ends up going, because I'm assuming MCBA is not going to be part of it, so it's just going to be free agents. And, you know, this is definitely one of the better free agent classes coming up right here. You got guys on the Grizzlies, like Diesel Boy, going into free agency, and you got Creeper as well. I know he hasn't had a good season this season, but still, one of the arguably best players in the league when he is on. As Gertie able to crush one to right center, and that'll be a little single. One problem with NBL, it doesn't matter how far you hit the ball. If it's in the field, it normally is a single.
Yep.
Genuinely depressing, but hey, what can you do? As Dil Hanko says, classic NBL single. You know.
It would probably be even worse. What's it from last season? Honestly, with the because the outfield throws were just normal throws at that point. You could probably some of those singles were being outs at that point. So I guess it's an improvement in the step in the right direction, but it's definitely some more work
That's
to do.
a liner into center field, and Kenny able
On
to
his
get that one. He's gonna
toes.
try to go out Gertie and just throws it into the dirt. You know, he has a little noodle arm. You know, he has a little injury, maybe a little rotator cuff torn. But hey, what can you do there? you at least made the catch, so even though
Yep.
your rotator cuff might be a little bit torn, just can't get 2 outs. As now we have clear lag and Dogs up to the plate. 0 for 1 so far in this game. Struck out his first at bat. Let's see what he can do here.
The question is going to be, can Wyatt...
Him
Ooh.
up. Kaz able to get there? No, he is not.
Nah.
He's a little bit fat.
The question is going to be is YSBA can keep this up, because one of the biggest sticklers I ever see about him is that he's very inconsistent on the mound. We'll see him throw like a whole shutout inning, or probably an almost near immaculate inning in one inning, and then the next one he's giving up 4 or 5 runs. So it's just a question of, can he keep it consistent? Can he switch up his pitches well enough to make it through? Because it's clear the Grizzlies are going to give him offense. It's just, can he pitch his way through it?
That is going to be a strikeout. Just a 2-seam, way too high. Not a pitch you can hit, and swings and misses for the 3rd out. You
We
know,
are very
one
quickly
thing we're
in the
seeing
fourth.
out of these, yeah, very, very quickly. One thing we're seeing out of these prospects, outside of, I'd say, Bankit so far in this game, is that they're chasing a lot of pitches. And, you know, in MCBA at least, you get a lot of these pitchers throw all around, but you can wait for that fastball down the middle and you're able to crush it. Here in NBL, you can't expect that, as Pink is able to track that one down off of Haps for the 1st out in the inning. Here in NBL, you can't really expect that fastball down the middle every at-bat. So you have to kind of wait for your pitches, and these players just being a little too aggressive and not waiting for that said pitch and just keep striking out on those high inside or outside pitches. So I want to see if these guys can make an adjustment.
Right.
The thing I'd say is that Gertie's definitely, so far at least, might be an easier person to hit than Yizba, just because they've seen him before. And again, like I've mentioned, he does throw that 2-seam on that outside corner, which is extremely crushable for righties. So because of that, it almost is like you're throwing a fastball down the middle for these guys. Because again,
Right.
the NBL players, they know how to hit. It's just, will they hit and will they pick it up? It definitely is a little bit of a predicament, and you know, not an exact answer, as Kenny is up to the plate, 0-2 count, and he's pops that one up way high. Dogs not able
And
to
drops
track
it
down.
again.
Drops it again. You know, that's 2 errors for the first baseman in this game. Just not able to track that one down. That's rough. Very rough.
Yep.
Not a
But
good
that's
day.
what you're talking
for
about.
2 strikeouts and 2 errors.
But as you're talking about, these pitchers in the NBL, they are completely comfortable pitching at their spots. You'll have like I think like the most average one will have like a spot that's nowhere near the middle at all. It's either probably at their head, probably at their feet, but they are able to hit it, and they're able to hit it consistently. So as a new kid into the MCBA, going up into the NBL now, you have to adjust for each and every single one of those spots, each and every one of those different pitching angles too that they use. And the fact that they could dot it whenever and whenever they want, with ease. So it's gonna be a real challenge to see if they can adjust to it. Bankit is already pretty much as with absolute nuke, but even still, that's Gertie, who's also pretty new. But for some of these new kids, like Broadway, for example, who's up right now, it's up to finding like the adjustment for these guys who can just dot it at consistently and at a moment's notice. You're not seeing any down the middle, and seeing if you can make that adjustment.
No, for sure. Is that the 2-seam inside? Broadway just a little bit late, and he'll end up striking out for the 2nd out of the inning. Netflix coming up to the plate. Another one of those rookies. This one being from the Samurai. The Nagasaki Samurai. Let's see what they can do here.
All from Grace the Samurai did have, right?
They had a little fall from grace, but nothing too crazy. They just, you know, had a guy on mobile on the Gorillas hit a 2-run bomb off of them.
That was a few games ago, but yeah, that did happen. That did
Definitely a
happen.
bit demoralizing. I
Yeah.
have to say.
we
You
were
know,
sitting there like, how the hell did that even happen? He is playing on a phone. Like, I
we
didn't
have a
even know that
player
was
on
He also
possible.
did that. He also did that for the playoffs last. Was he
playoffs.
last?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
I
yeah,
heard.
yeah,
believe he
yep,
did
yep.
that
Oh,
during
okay,
during
okay.
the MCBA playoffs last season.
He did it. Yeah,
I think he
that's
did
what I'm
it this
referencing.
season too. Again, like.
Yeah. So definitely a bit heartbreaking. You know, you're in the 7th inning, Nutty not able to hit. He's 0 for 4 in the game, and then you put Crude on the mound because Nutty just pitched 6 spectacular innings for the Samurai. You're in the 7th inning. You throw a fastball down in the dirt as Netflix pops up, and that'll be the end of the top of the 4th. Heading in, change sides. But no, definitely depressing. Your best hitter 0 for 4, a guy who has a 500 average with 2,000 OPS across the season and playoffs, and then you need a bat. Crude comes up, guy with a 1 ERA across the entire season, throws a fastball in the dirt, and Gorilla, a guy on mobile with 200 ping, able to hit a 2-run piss missile into right field and able to get to the next round of the playoffs, where they'd ultimately lose to the Emeralds, who would be the champs of that season, as Caps able to catch that one in foul territory for the first out. You know, again, like I said, that World Series championship has now been voided because of a alt being on that said team without the team's knowledge during the playoffs, which genuinely sucks, you know. But,
Demoralizing.
You know, there's not much I can. Yeah, definitely demoralizing.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could have done about it. And hey, I could stand here and rant about it for a while, as that is crushed but going to be foul. That's what we like to call in Emerald's Discord a foul bomb. Here on this field, it isn't a bomb, but I can tell you on MCBA, it probably is.
In
So,
on the Hitman field, it would be considered gone at Hitman. Something the Samurai experienced 3 times today. There was 3 home runs, all of them being first either on the season or for a career.
oh, and
That is
crushed.
pissed on.
Deep and
Gone.
Gone.
Holy, what a pinch homer by Daniel. Oh my. Yisma just
My oh
throwing
my.
a changeup in the dirt, and Daniel just close enough to the plate that he was able to absolutely hit a piss missile on that.
That was
Very proud of him.
That's the
Destroy.
inconsistency we were talking about from YSBA. I mean, that was pinched, but either way, holy, that was absolutely bombed.
That was just like the first one that from the Grizzlies. That one was barely over the wall.
Yeah, but this one was to center.
Yeah.
The other one was to left field. So that one definitely traveled a bit more.
Yeah.
Definitely good to see. That's Emerald's royalty right there. So, you know, just ended up becoming the Emerald GM as well. So, congrats to him on his successes as Diesel Boy able to slide and make that catch for the second out. You know, if you're an MCBA, you're extremely excited for that play. But once you get to MBL and you got a defense like the disbanded Beacons, who had to obey Manny and Jake this loser in their outfield, you know, you just kind of expect those plays to be made, just because
Yep,
of how
indeed.
crazy that defense was. As Pink is now up to the plate, takes the first strike just a little early on the shootout, and swings at the shootout again, outside this time around, not in the zone. That is going to be a slider popped up, just in play for Kaz to make the catch, and that is a pop out to the catcher. Switch sides as we head into the top of the 5th.
What the hell was that?
Gertie still on the mound against Hibbett. But
And this is where it gets interesting. Not at the 5th, but mostly the 6th, honestly, because, and I don't really know much about Gertie, but I do know that most of these MCBA pitchers, they don't really know how to deal with the 6-inning stamp. So it all depends on if they're going to go and keep Gertie out there, and if Gertie does, can he even pitch on starting off pretty much on 3-ball, 4-ball stamp for the 6th? It's a whole different ball game. He gets an extra inning. They get an extra inning, honestly, to figure out what
it'll
to do.
definitely be interesting, because not only is it that, but it's a 1-run game. This game can be taken by the Panthers just like that. You get 1 home run and This game's tied. You get a man on base, a bloop, and a blast. This game's over.
Yep.
So, you know, even though that might be a little bit rare for MBL, you don't really see bloops and blasts. It's definitely possible. Talking about home runs, I wonder if in the offseason we're going to see balls fly a little bit more going into next season. Because have there been more homers this season? Yes. But still, I don't know if it's at the level that the league wants, per se.
I think going into the offseason, the league is gonna have to decide on whether we need more doubles. So that means nerfing the outfield throw more. That's pissed on. That's gonna be
blind,
possibly
in the
more.
gap,
It's the
possibly a double.
wall.
If it takes the turn, going for it. Oh no, he's not.
And
He's going straight.
that's an great example. Honestly, it's only going to depend on if they want to have more doubles, and therefore they got to kind of nerf out the was it throws, or if they
Make
want to
them bigger.
make more explosions. But to be honest, at that point you're just pretty much boosting up what current MBL is, which is just home runs or singles. So it's
Yeah.
something they have to figure out. Honestly, we're just broadcasters here. We can't really talk about that. But it all depends on if they want more doubles in the league, possible triples. U-Time
Daniel
catches
able to
that.
make that play. Nice catch. You see, that's a lean man right there. That man's not
Yep.
fat.
He is not.
But no, it definitely is an interesting predicament because they could very much make the fields bigger, but if they make the fields bigger, they're going to also have to raise the power rates. So, is there going to be more doubles? Yeah, but there will also maybe be more home runs in the process. But they also could just keep it the way it is, which I wouldn't be shocked with. That is a live ball right to Little for the second out. Bankhead not able to do anything in that play. But that at bat as Diesel comes up.
Possible
This is
MVP
third
Diesel.
at-bat.
I'm surprised he isn't pitching tonight, but you know if they could save him for game 2, that's also a bonus.
No, for sure. Oh, that's popped way up right.
That's gonna hurt.
That sucks. That's 2 strikeouts and a pop-up for Diesel. Just rough. You know, we've seen 2 poor offensive games today. But, you know, I think if we're going to have to give a loser to the game, it's definitely Dogs with an 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and 2 errors. But
Oh yeah, indeed. I think one of them is
Hey.
the reason why it's a 2-run home run, not a solo shot.
God, no, for sure. So, hey, definitely tough pill to swallow for that Panthers team, but hey, you still got 2 innings to work with. You can very much come back as Pug is up to the plate. Just swinging at fastballs way inside. 0-2. And that's strike 3. Just misses the goose seam. Way behind it as Little comes up to the plate. Game has went by very quickly. What? We're 50 minutes in and we're almost at the end of today's game.
It's crazy.
This game's went a bit quick because that's a Raptor change. That's the first Raptor change he's thrown for a strike, guys.
I think he threw one the
Down the middle.
The previous at bat was a Raptor change strike.
Oh, was it actually?
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yeah, the pitches are getting slower. The Raptor change is probably like the second slowest pitch in the game, so he's probably gonna really abuse it as we head here in the bottom 5th and 6th.
Those pitches that come in slow are really difficult to see when all you see is 90s and 80s across the board.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that Raptor change was the pitch that Daniel was able to hit for a home run. Just on that outside corner in the dirt and just able to go bop, goodbye, game over. But I wonder what Gertie's going to be able to do here. See if he can help himself out a little bit. Maybe get a run on the board and able to tie this game up. Oh, and
Gertie drives
That
it.
pitch
That is
is
going to be... Oh!
Dropped right in
Dropped
front of
him.
him.
Not...
front of him.
Yeah, Diesel doesn't
That's
slide
got
for
to be
it,
an error
unlike him.
somewhere.
No, it kind of just fell into the gap. But
Oh yeah.
Fell right on top of him, but
you'd
he didn't make the catch.
You would have expected Diesel to slide for that play. He very much could have slid for it.
Well, now they have Bendelli up with a chance to take the lead here.
can the franchise owner help his own team out and give himself another couple of games to play in the NBL playoffs? We will see here tonight.
Momentarily.
Yeah, they're calling it an E8.
Wow.
Because it's Gertie.
No
Dill's gonna get his umpire removed after that one.
idea what the hell's happening, but someone's switching from pitcher to pitcher. Who gives a damn?
Oh,
Oh my.
Whoa,
We
that's
have
got to be a no
rejection here.
pitch.
that's a no
That's
pitch.
got to be a no
Whoa.
pitch.
That is a no pitch.
Who's been ejected?
I don't know. Dill might lose that here. That
Who's been ejected? I'm so confused.
I don't know. Well, Bandelli's gonna stand in on a 1-0 count here. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 5th. Yes, that one
Drives that
slapped,
one, but they-
drive. That
That's
one's
gonna go over
down.
his head.
That might be a double.
Gertie going.
He
for
throws it
three,
in the
and that's a
ground.
bad throw.
That's on the ground. That
He's gonna go
he
home.
is going home.
He's gonna go home.
No, he's not. He's staying at 3. That comes in for a. Is that the first double of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first
They would
double of
probably
the
call it-
series.
Mhm.
But
Wait.
Dogs up to the plate. Can he make
Chance
it
for
up?
redemption.
Give himself a little bit of redemption. 0 for 2, 2 Ks, 2 errors. Can he get a hit right here? That is ball. I thought that was ball 1. Might be
Yeah,
ball 2 though.
ball 2 above the head. They're looking to tie it, man, or at least
Force
tie it or
down the middle.
take lead.
Just watches it.
That is an interesting pitch to watch. That one's crushed. That one's crushed. It's gone.
He's gone.
That is a 3-run blast.
3-1. Oh my.
It is 4-2. Panthers lead at home here at Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Goodness.
Jesus.
Do y'all think the Grizzlies can come back from that?
No, honestly, morale is killed at that point.
I think
Just over the Panthers' wall.
I definitely assume YSBA could be done here. That is my thought.
Yeah, the inconsistency of YSBA, as I was saying. Can't
Holy
get it down.
cow. No, they're not. They did
Right
not
there.
pull
He
him.
rips another one.
Another one. Is that nope? That is caught by Bandkid out in right as the inning. We go to the top of the 6th, man. It is 4-2 Panthers lead after a 3-run blast.
From Dogs, who redeems himself after the 2 first base errors.
That was
I think he yep.
that is a game-changing home
2
run.
strikeouts. And now, Grizzlies fighting for their life for this game. Paps up to the plate again. This is your AL Rookie of the Year, most likely, if stats end up prevailing. So, what will we see here by Paps?
And he swings at a
2 fastballs, very inside, 2 strikes.
I think nerves are getting to him.
Last strike. Yeah.
yeah.
No. You know, unlike in MC
That
Bird,
one popped
in,
into the stands pretty much.
yeah. Unlike in the MLB, these young guys tend to get a little more nervous in the playoffs, unlike, again, in the MLB, where you see the young guys tend to be less nervous in the playoffs. Where you see guys like, I hate to take Juan Soto's name, but Juan Soto being able to do what he did in his first year or second season with the Nationals and have that crazy season. But yeah,
That one
that's a liner into the outfield, but
drilled
going
and dropped.
Bug and little.
He's gonna come
Takes
in.
the turn for 2 and he's gonna stay out 1. So
Well, now they have the
Grizzlies
tying
have a little bit of
run.
life.
Tying run at first. Even if the Grizzlies lose, it is a 5-game series. It'll be best of 3, best 2, first to 3, right?
First and 3. That is
Ooh,
popped
that's
up
gotta
right to the
hurt.
match.
That is
That's
a
rough
pop-up.
out for the Grizzlies right there. That's one dead.
Yeah.
And
Even still, for a game 1 of a championship series to start us off, this is a real good one. This is
Yeah. I mean, this series
we
could
got Mr. Shingle himself.
beat out that the last series or the NL division series. I believe that was. I think it was the division series with that walk off in game 2
just
popped
missed the
up.
two-seam.
They're down to their last out of the game,
they're going down like flies, and it's up to Netflix now.
and it is
See,
a
I was mentioning that two-seam on that outside corner, but there's a difference from the two-seam on the outside corner being high and it being low. That one was high. That one you're not able to crush. The one that's low, you are able to crush. That's going to be a fly out, and that'll end the game.
that is game.
Panthers able to make a huge comeback with a 3-run bomb by Dogs.
Goodness.
Daniel also helping out this team a bunch, getting their offense started with the solo home run. What a turnaround for the
Goodness.
Panthers. Panthers take game 1 of the AL Division Series.
Championship
EU
series.
Or Championship Series. AL Championship Series. EU.
The next one.
Hopefully,
This is
Hopefully
AML.
live. Hopefully live.
Yeah.
yep, hopefully
From-
live.
This has been
This is
a phenomenal game, gentlemen. Phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Yep.
AMM and Bolo and Fireball
Yeah.
signing out. Thank you.
Signing out.
Peace
Thank
out.
you.